top cut spot.
Yeah, and let's jump into it. It's game 1, round 2.
Ooh, we see a 3 and a 5. So for now, red players win in the die rolls. So
Malice is going first. Both players choosing to use the blue sleeves here. The players had the choice of using the blue or red sleeves, so it's all based on their personal preference.
Yep. Yeah, Damien didn't get the memo. They should have made him re-sleeve, you know, say, sorry, you're on the red side. So
I'm going to have to disagree with you there, Tom. I'm not waiting for these players to re-sleeve every round.
You're going to have to put the red sleeves. At least he's got the red t-shirt, you know. So.
True. All right, Malice going first. We saw what it could do in Match Duel, but we're going to see a normal summon of Malice White Rabbit starting off this match.
And we see the effect Veiler coming up from ISAIAS.
Is it a sort of like you smell weakness situation? Because that White Rabbit is not the thing that you start with most of the time. I feel like if you have anything else to do, you'd probably rather start with that. No traps.
Unless you're playing something like TB11, it's not as good as the other ones. And yeah, you're right, Tom. Effect Veiler shutting down Damien's turn here.
It's really interesting because I feel like it's a habit for Malice players to be setting the card first, and then that might have thrown ISAIAS off from activating Effect Veiler, but he didn't set the card first, so I'm wondering what it is that he kept in his hand.
And then from ISAIAS here, CRYSTRON Inclusion is an excellent start. It's really the key card to really get your CRYSTRON strategy online. Going to add a CRYSTRON monster from the deck to the hand.
Yeah, it is fantastic to start with. So usually in the CRYSTRON deck, you maybe add the Solfefnir or the Sulfador, and it looks like we have the Solfefnir now. But if you summon Sulfador via its own effect, it's going to lock you out of things from the extra deck that aren't machines. And normally in CRYSTRON, you're kind of used to it. It's kind of fine. But when you're adding in the canines, maybe you don't want to do that just yet. So we'll see what the plan is. Here we are summoning the Solfefnir, destroying the inclusion because you have to destroy something when Solfefnir is summoned by its own effect.
And you also get that bonus of the graveyard effect now being used from inclusion here by ISAIAS. You'll be able to banish it to special summon back a CRYSTRON monster from the graveyard.
And here comes Solfefnir sending, Sulfador sending 2 monsters from the deck. 2 cards even from the deck to the grave, and it feels like a card you have to negate because it's so powerful. But then if you do negate it, you know what's coming next. You know there's 2 level 5s, could be an Infinity, could be a Ripper, could be anything.
Oh, but the Fualos is immediately met by an Ash Blossom.
Wow, that's unfortunate. And at the same time now means that Damien has used a monster from the end, so this has suddenly turned quite grey, I'd say, for the Frenchman, and we do get to resolve this Ripper.
Yeah, you kind of get that free extra Azuna activation if you get the monster from the hand. I feel like a lot of players say, you know, if you activate your Fualos against a canine deck and then they ash it, it's just devastating.
This is a huge Dominus Impulse trying to stop the Jokul. That's going to prevent both of those level 5 monsters from being special summoned from the hand. No trap card in the graveyard, so they will remain in ISAIAS' hand, though.
Yeah, what is there to do for ISAIAS? I'm looking at his hand thinking, you know, maybe the Sulfador can't make its way onto the field because it might have to destroy a CRYSTRON card, or maybe I'm remembering that incorrectly, but he's used the Jokul now, so yeah, is that an attack?
Looks like Lupus is coming down and then...
That's an interesting one. We have not normal summon yet, so yeah, we're just tribute summoning over the Lupus. That's not something you see every day.
Yeah, Damien down to 1 card in hand, so you have to tribute summon rather than normal summon, but you can just bring out this Azuna straight away. But once you've used the normal summon, it makes your CRYSTRON line slightly weaker because you can no longer use the River Stormer and search Scrap Recycler because you would have to normal summon the Scrap Recycler if you want to use it. So,
and the big thing here for ISAIAS is that Damien used that Mulcharmy Fualos, and so all his canine cards are online, so being able to tribute someone for that Jokul gave him access to Izuna, and now more monsters are on the field. Canines really are on the hunt from those monster effects being activated in the hand or graveyard.
I mean, we're just gonna push a lot of damage. We do have access to some interesting options in the extra deck. I do see a card that is not super popular overall. Chronomaly Vimana could be an option here on top of the extra deck. Let's see.
I'm a big fan of that card. It kind of reminds me of like a rank 5, like Evolzar Logia kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, it does make a lot of sense, especially in the CRYSTRON Canine deck, because it is a machine. So when you've played a card like the Sulfador that requires you to only summon machines, it gives you an option. But here we see a
Valon is just so good, especially in such a simplified game state. I mean, it's hard to get out of it, and we can even go into Zeus, and I do think that could be a right decision. I mean, not really a lot of end and graveyard interaction, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, this is tough to break.
Especially with one card in hand, drawing to 2. Gonna go and shuffle the deck.
Yep.
See, maybe if I'm Damien, I'm drawing my card for my turn first, and then seeing if there's even a reason to waste the time on shuffling the deck here, because he's in a tough spot.
Fair enough.
But because you got to pay attention to that clock.
Yeah, I mean, it has been only 5 minutes to be fair. So
if you start from the beginning, playing to save your time, it kind of adds up there in the end.
I totally agree, and yeah, already wasn't the most promising start. We need a miracle off the top. Can we pull this off from Damien, or are we just gonna pick the cards up? It seems like that's the latter. So game 1 goes to ISAIAS.
Yeah, really on the backs of that effect Veiler shutting down the White Rabbit, which is really the only Malice card that Damien had access to. And even still, I mean, another key part of that game was the Fualos being met by the Ash Blossom, because that means he used the monster effect from the hand, but didn't yield any positive results from it, only negative, letting all those canine monsters be able to activate their effects.
Yeah, that's gonna be a always key component of any duels involving canine cards. It's always so rough to maneuver through them, and that's why the Yami deck is so well positioned against it, because engine by engine it just doesn't use effects in the end or graveyard.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. ISAIAS drawing the Lupus, but knowing how to play on anyway. It's heads up, being able to tribute summon. I think it's something you end up doing quite a lot between the CRYSTRON and the K9 engine, because all of those level 5s, so you need to keep in mind that you can tribute summon when you need to, and it was really important there that he did.
Yep, they really synergize well together, which is why we see so many players looking at using this strategy. I mean, before Justice Hunter's release, I know everyone was looking at Vanquish Soul K9. Wasn't a lot of talk about the K9 CRYSTRON deck, but now that the set is out, YCS Vancouver has been played, it is becoming one of the top decks to look at going into any tournament.
Let's see this opener from Damian. Doesn't seem like there is a Mulcharmy. This Purulia coming down.
And yeah, a slight upgrade to the
chassis.
Yeah, slight upgrade to the rabbit with the chassis cap. But we're going to be negating it anyway.
Again, an interruption with that impermanence, shutting down the triple tactic cards. But we see a Sign in Mining, interesting inclusion in the deck. But oof, there is an Ash Blossom on it.
Damien Breeze, ISAIAS has the answer for it every time he does anything. But a Link summon here from Chessy Cat is going to send it to the graveyard for potentially a Link Karibo.
Yeah, but then the question is, do we have the Marcher? Do we have a Bestial?
This is Link Disciple. This unexpected, but Link Disciple plus a backup Aniteckzetto. His plays are nowhere near finished despite those 2 interactions from ISAIAS.
Yeah, Malice, one of those decks that, I mean, we're seeing these hand traps, and it was very effective in game 1, but I feel like it's quite known for just breezing past cards like Effect Veiler and Imperm, and maybe why these cards kind of fell out of popularity over the last year or so, but we're seeing them all come back now.
Wow, and a third interruption plus
a fourth?
Izuna? What is it going to be?
Oof. It is Izuna. 4 interactions from the hand here for ISAIAS going second.
That's unbelievable. What a end. I mean, 3 different interruptions plus the Izuna. What a dream opener, honestly.
Yep, Izuna is going to let him send a K9 monster from the deck to the graveyard. Of course, it's going to be the K9 Lupus. Lupus can summon himself back from the graveyard, and now performing an Exceed summon that'll be untargetable as long as Lupus is there as a material.
Yeah, is it just going to be Valon? What are we going for?
Could be the Valon to put that backup Aniteckzetto face down.
And that's going to be the case. We resolve putting it face down. Have we stopped Damien once again? What an end. Wow. I mean, playing really an insane amount of interruptions.
If I remember correctly, ISAIAS was he was the player who qualified using Gym Knights, actually, which is a deck that you can't use here at the World Championship since Battle of the Legends Monster Mayhem's not legal. But he's showing it's not the deck that got him there, it's himself, the player as he is piloting this deck well. I mean, drawing those 4 interactions is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and I think I had a peek at the last card in his hand. It looked like a Chaotic Elements to me, but was that a Sulfidor off the top? So going to be able to summon both a Sulfidor and a Jokel. Jokel's so powerful in this deck, which is why players are more or less running 6 copies between Chaotic Elements and the 3 main deck copies of Jokel, just because those Crystron canines, Crystron monsters are so powerful to get out from the hand.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't get much better than this. Let's be honest. And yeah, just look at this. Wow.
Damien still has that card face down. Yeah. A couple of cards.
The droplet in the previous game.
Torrential Tribute. Let's.
Ooh, different dimension ground. Okay, it's something.
It does something for sure. It's a card. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
It is. It's a trap card.
It's a Yu-Gi-Oh trap card, normal trap card.
It's not going to get the inclusion, though. The inclusion can still go to the graveyard because it is a spell and not a monster. And then we're still going to be staring down the Valon. I mean, what could you even draw if ISAIAS just goes to his battle phase, cleans up the field? Like, at minimum, that's what you're going to be seeing. But, I mean, we could be seeing even more than that, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, we can just make the same field as in the previous game. And that was enough. We are now in top deck mode for Damien.
Yeah, we're going to see, like, maybe Zeus Valon again. Some follow-up.
Yeah, I was about to say we didn't use the Jokel, so thankfully ISAIAS remembers last moment and before committing to the Xyz summon.
Yep, the Jokel's gonna add Izuna.
Yep. I mean, might as well. Only upside, we do not have 2 cards in hand. We can't normal summon those, you know, K9s, I guess.
You gotta look at the silver lining.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
All right, so rank 5 is going to be coming down. Looks like he's looking at K9 Ripper.
Yeah, I mean, it could be just a Reaper Zeus angle once more, but let's see.
Do you think he runs Lantern? Because we didn't see it in the last game, but it feels like a card that most people would be running in their deck. So let's see if he searches one now.
Yeah.
Got to detach. And I think just maybe clarifying whether the card gets sent to the grave, but I don't think the card's not considered a monster while it is underneath an XYZ monster. It's just an XYZ material. It's a sort of formless void, not a monster, so it is not banished. It is just sent to the graveyard.
Well, it doesn't leave the field either. Yep. And Lantern, as you're saying, instead of like Jokel summons from the hand, Lantern summons back from the graveyard.
And yeah, that's a big deal because this is so much damage. We have case for K9, maybe a one-off in deck. Not quite gonna be the case, it seems.
No case.
Or maybe we sided out the target and that's what's happening, so might get a warning for it, but I mean...
Not a big deal.
Yeah, not a big deal at all. Yeah, I think that's what's going on, as you can see. But yeah, we just move on to the battle phase, push a lot of damage, make that Zeus. We can even make another rank 5. I mean, this is a brutal turn from... yeah, what has been not much of a CRYSTRON deck all around, just using them, you know, to access these K9s, but I mean, it works, so...
Yeah, I mean, you say not much, but like, because of the different dimension ground, obviously you can't use the CRYSTRON cards, but that's forced Damien to have that card in his deck and set it and activating it. So having it, it's already done the work just by kind of being there, even if he didn't get to use it, because it kind of forced the card out of Damien, which has done relatively little to the K9 part of the deck. I'm wondering what even Damien could have in his mind to draw. I don't think he's running Elemental Hero Bubble Man.
That surely be a fun one, but not quite enough regardless. But we see some interesting inclusions here. Obviously, you have a lot of freedom with your extra deck when you're building this deck, and you can include some interesting one-offs. In this case, we will see this Infinitrack River Stormer.
Yeah, game just being paused for a second here. I don't think there's anything wrong with the materials. It just looks like River Stormer is 2 level 5s. Maybe Damien just wants a translation of the card, possibly.
It gets scrap recycler, right? Like, they might as well just say scrap recycler. Like,
Detaching material. I think it does more things, but I don't know what they are.
In terms of this game, that's all we're really going to be using here for ISAIAS. But it's good to always make a translation for a card if you do need it. If that is what we are, in fact, waiting on.
Get scrap recycler makes Zeus pretty good card.
Yeah, I know all my Earth Machine fans out there know this card all too well. It has been one of their key cards for many years for all those dedicated duelists.
Indeed.
But this is kind of more of what I expected. If like, I mean, the Malice is still a strong deck, but we saw like really showcasing a way to play Malice. You need to find like some new ways to use it to really have it line up and match up against those powerful decks that were released out of Justice Hunters.
Yeah, I don't think we can fault the Malice deck too much for this game when your opponent has, the 4 interruptions followed by the premium starter cards for their own deck. It's so difficult for any deck to beat that. But you have to say, like, maybe some other decks, are slightly more efficient at playing into hand traps. Maybe the Yummy deck, for example, it's not going to be too fussed about cards like Effect Veiler. Whereas, I guess enough of them against Malice is enough to do the job.
Yeah, and I guess Justice Hunter's card just, wanted to show why they are strong after their round 1 rough match for the Yummy deck, and Damien last 1 card, just moments away most likely from picking up his deck, and I mean, solid effort, but you gotta feel bad a bit for him. And there goes the handshake. It's gonna be an impressive 2-0 score by ISAIAS. Dominating win, honestly, all around.
Yeah, for sure. So we've seen now Malice win one in a very convincing fashion, but unfortunately lose one in a very convincing fashion, going first each time as well. So slightly unfortunate for Damien there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, going first, you're feeling pretty good. Didn't draw like too explosive of a hand to begin